Hello, and welcome to Kenshi, aka Pain Simulator, the game tailor-made for masochists. Let's take for example this lovely young fella. Seems like a good bloke, but this human wannabe is a skin bandit, and as the name implies, he will straight up steal your skin by putting you in a human-sized electric apple peeler that's unfortunately too graphic to be shown on YouTube.
Told you. We're gonna hang out, gonna watch a movie, gonna take some pictures.
Oh, but that ain't so bad. They only reside in a small part of the map. Surely the rest of the map isn't so bad. Well, in any normal game, you'd be right. But oh no, this is Kenshi, so half the map is filled with a religious cult that hates anyone who isn't a white man. Seriously, they'll literally enslave anyone who looks different. You a robot? Slave camp. However, slave camp. Check. Slave camp. Female. Enjoy spending the rest of your life mining stone in the rebirth slave mine while some asshole belittles you. Now, because I am one of those aforementioned masochists, I decided to do my playthrough of Kenshi starting off as a slave in rebirth. After creating my character, I spent the next 3 hours of my life getting my ass beat on repeat whilst I trained up my stats to escape. With my man Reginald trained up and 3 hours of my life gone and I was never getting back, I freed some other prisoners as some cannon fodder and made good my getaway. With all the training, I managed to easily outrun the guards and achieve freedom. With this newfound freedom, I made my way to the hub. On my way there, I was beset upon by some hungry bandits, but they didn't last too long.
What you want, son? Huh? I'll give it that.
Once I finally arrived in the hub, I made my way to the barkeep only to be reminded that much like real life, I was impoverished and couldn't really afford anything.
And there's no money in here!
So naturally, I turned to the only thing any critically impoverished individual does: the liberation of valuable goods. Yeah, turns out thievery is much harder than I thought. Not only did I get my ass beat, I was thrown back in jail. On the upside, at least I wasn't sold back into slavery. Certainly could have been a lot worse. But the question still remained: how was I going to get money? Given how badly I failed at planning a heist, thievery was surely off the table. I thought about going legit, earning cash the hard way, but then a thought crossed my mind. Now, whilst you can't actually make Colombian booger sugar in Kenshi, you can produce hashish. And if I couldn't steal, I was gonna smuggle. Hashish, like most narcotics, is illegal in the majority of cities across Kenshi. To clarify, you can actually sell it to the shinobis in those cities, but it's not the best price in the world, and you will basically have to go through airport security every time you try and enter the town. Which means they'd most likely find the unauthorized pharmaceuticals shoved up my ass. Now, to get this powdery gold in Kenshi, we got to go to the swamp.
Hello there.
In the swamp, I came across a man named Sand who sold me what I was after for $143 a piece. Now, if I go from here, through the jungle, dodging flesh spiders, to a place called Flats Lagoon, I can sell it for $745. That's a $602 return for a single trip. That ain't a bad payday in the world of Kenshi. And the best part? It's fully legal to sell it here. No cavity searches from those handsy town security guards. The best part about this is that Flats Lagoon is populated with tech hunters. The tech hunters are scavengers of old world tech, and they're quite well off it seems, as these fiends bought up over $100,000 worth of hashish off me over the course of just a few runs. These little bastards cleaned me and the swamp out of hashish. There wasn't a single fucking crumb left. Now this was a problem, because without product, I had no way to make money. But that's when I heard some rumours. Rumours of a robot who produced hashish en masse. A Robo Walter White, if you will.
I am the danger.
So I decided to go check him out and see if he'd be a viable supplier for my product. And wouldn't you know it, when I arrived, he was dead on the fucking floor. Yeah, it turns out Robo Walter White wasn't the danger. The real danger was a pack of fucking gorillas. They killed him and left his rusting corpse in the middle of the street. Like I said in the intro, Kenshi is fucking brutal. So, with my only other source of product rusting away, there's only one thing for it. I had to use my saved up wealth to produce my own supply. Well, my supply chain solidified, profit margin through the roof. I found myself thinking, what more could a man want in this shithole of a world? And then I thought back to my origins and rebirth. How I was enslaved by the holy nation, getting my ass beat on repeat. The 3 hours of my life I was never getting back. There was only one thing for it. I was going to have to take out the Holy Phoenix, leader of the holy nation. Now, throughout my narcotic empire building, I managed to recruit quite the babble of robots. But I know the Holy Phoenix has some seriously strong guards, and I wasn't convinced my frail old robots were up to the task.
Oh, that was a bad snap. I'm hurt, kid.
But I knew of a robot far stronger than any of my old geriatrics. A robot by the name of Mad Catlon. Now sure, as the name implies, he's fucking mad.
Go crazy. Go stupid.
But I was positive that if I could survive and bring him back, I'd have no problem whatsoever recruiting him to help in my crusade. Now Catlon is a bit of a yapper, so I shut him up by swinging my sword at his face, and our legendary battle ensued. Well, our battle was legendary, alright. Legendarily fucking short. Mad Catlon beat the absolute shit out of me and cut off both my legs.
My leg!
Yeah, it turns out trying to solo the main boss, who has the best heavy weapon in the entire game, doesn't really leave you with much of a leg to stand on.
Ha!
Now I could give up on my ambitions to get Catlon, but much like a gambler falling for a sunk cost fallacy, I would be damned if I was going to give up my legs just to go home empty-headed. I may not have accounted for my injuries, but I did account for getting my ass handed to me, and I brought 3 of my best robots for backup to hopefully finish off Catlon in my absence. And thankfully, my 3 lads brought it home. They throttled old Leg Stealer and managed to get both Catlon and I back to base safely so we could finalise my plan. Given Kenshi's hatefulness of its players, I'm surprised they let you have robotic limbs to replace your missing ones. I was really worried I was going to have to be carried on one of the backs of my robots when we take the Holy Phoenix. On the way back to base, I got one of the fellas to do a quick errand run and buy some robotic limbs. Given the drug money we amassed, it was easy to find some legs that were actually an improvement on the ones I was born with. Seeing this, I actually picked up some robotic arms to make sure I was at the peak of my game for the fight. This time, I wanted to be the one to deal the final blow. With my new robotic limbs acquired, it was time to take my revenge. that was it. I got him.
We got him!
I thought about doing a big funny and making him have shitty robotic limbs. If you don't know, that's against their religion and it would mean he'd be enslaved in Rebirth. I even made a facility to do it, but it just felt wrong for Reginald the anti-slaver to force someone into slavery, even if it is poetic justice. I think the most surprising thing is that I didn't even end up needing Catlon. Yep, I lost my legs for no reason. I had him on the outskirts ready to run in should something go awry, but none of us even got knocked out throughout the entire course of the raid. So yeah, I think that's where we leave Reginald. Rich, vindicated, and unstoppable. Hello, if you're still here for some reason, I just want to say a huge thank you. This is my first ever time making a YouTube video. First ever time touching Premiere Pro for that matter. I've had a lot of fun. Still a lot to learn. I was actually very shocked at how complicated it is to make a YouTube video. Like, these edits take a lot of time, and considering how shit mine are, the one that I've seen other YouTubers make, it's just phenomenal. Making this, I've already got a couple of points in here that I'd really like to polish up, but I kind of set the challenge for myself to finish editing this video over a long weekend, and I want to keep to that goal. So definitely a lot of things to polish up for the next video, but yeah. If you have any tips or pointers, feel free to leave a comment, and like and subscribe if you want to see some more. Thanks for watching.